test. We are. Oh wait, it didn't go live when I pushed the button. Let me do that again. Maybe I hit the wrong button last time. Okay, and we are seeing this appearance for go live, not the intro. So we do here, and then get rid of this, and see they're making it through.
So you need to go check the Facebook page or
Yeah, here, hold on a second, I'll do the intro. Yeah, the Facebook page and the YouTube page. make sure that the only sound inputs are not the mics up there.
Yeah, make perfect.
Okay, good. All right, that's it. Just because otherwise you're going to hear a solo by.
Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the South Hills. My name is Bradley Convis. I am so proud to serve as a worship associate for this congregation. We're delighted you could join us for this service this morning. It's a pleasure to see so many people here. Our mission at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. If you're a newcomer or visitor to our congregation, please go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill. There you can receive more information about our congregation and sign up to receive the weekly newsletter blast. If you're joining us online today, welcome to you also. Please say hello or good morning in the comments in the Facebook feed or YouTube feed. We'd love to hear from you and be able to extend a warm welcome to you. Today's service is the fourth and final of 4 worship services based on the hymn Amazing Grace. Today we will reflect on how certain songs, like Amazing Grace, can sometimes resonate deeply, connecting us with generations that preceded us and those that will follow us. How can we benefit from experiencing these vital connections? Our opening words were written by Eileen Carpeles. Out of our separate lives we come to walk this path together for an hour or a day, for a week or a month, or a series of months and years. For this space of time, we travel together, making much or little or nothing at all of the fact that another walks beside us. We can keep our eyes cast down, protecting ourselves from the pain we risk whenever we allow another human being to touch us. Living safe little lives inside our sterile wrappings, or we can reach out, risking a little or a lot or every coin we have, because we believe that loving and being loved is the only game in town. The choice is ours. Those who risk much lose much, but they are also the only ones who ever win. Please join me in saying the words to light our chalice. Symbol of light and knowledge, symbol of warmth and freedom, we light this chalice as a symbol of our faith. Here we gather to celebrate hope and the infinite possibilities of love.
Morning. Please rise in body and our spirit for our opening hymn. I am willing. We invite you to sing, if you know the words, but definitely on the chorus.
To be your place.
seems so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly. May the elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though it burns our eyes. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty yoke to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change.
Our Director of Religious Education, Jen, is traveling today, so I am going to be telling our story for all ages, after which we will sing out any of our children who are of RE age and who wish to come to religious education to come out to the corner. We've got some RE leaders back there who will be ready for you. This is a story that comes from the Bible, as told by my friend and colleague, Chris Bice, who is a UU minister in Tennessee. And it's his version of the story of Noah. And I will warn you that in the middle of the story, I'm going to ask for your help. We're going to make it rain inside. There's snow outside today, but we're going to make it rain inside, at least with a little special effects help. So Noah lived a long time ago, and he was known in his village to be kind of an oddball. He did things that people didn't understand, and they didn't seem to have any real purpose to them. He loved to sing and to dance and to make things with his hands, even things that seemed foolish. Like when it rained, he would make mud pies. And people asked Noah, why do you do these things? Why do you sing and dance all the time? Why do you make pies out of mud? And Noah said, because it brings me joy. Well, one day, the people saw him doing something even odder and more unusual than ever before. He was building this boat, this ark, on top of a hill. And there wasn't any water anywhere near them. And the people said, Noah, why are you building this ark on top of a hill when there's no big bodies of water for miles and miles around? And Noah said, because it brings me joy. And then after the ark was done, he did this strange thing. He went out and started collecting 2 of every animal that he could find and taking them and putting them aboard the ark. And the people said, again, Noah, what in the world are you doing? Why are you collecting 2 of every animal that you can find and putting them on the ark? And he said again, because it brings me joy. And not long after he'd collected all the animals, he took his family and they got aboard the ark. And then it started to rain. And this is where I need your help. First of all, it was just falling softly. It was like a whisper of rain was falling all around. And then drops began to fall. And you can hear them coming down, hitting the ground, hitting the houses, hitting the boat. And then the drops started to beat faster and faster and faster. And then the rain was coming down. It was storming. It was falling down. There was thunder and lightning. And the rain poured and poured and poured until it slowed again to little drips. And at last, after the water had covered the entire surface of the earth, it dropped to a whisper, and then it stopped. And Noah's family looked out a window of the ark, and they saw that the flood had come and had covered the entire earth. And one of Noah's daughters asked him, "Dad, did you know that this was going to happen?" And he said, "Well, not exactly." He said, "But I have this theory." He said, when things get hard, when things are tough and you don't know really what else to do, sometimes the best thing to do is to create something, to be creative. And if you're able to do that, if you're able to create something meaningful, it can keep you going in the hardest of times and can sometimes keep you afloat. So I think for the lesson for all of us to remember is that even in the hardest times, things that we make ourselves, things that we create that connect us with the creative forces in the universe are the things that sustain us and can sometimes keep us afloat. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go, as you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As
Good morning. My name is Jean Ferlin, and I am a member of the Pastoral Care Team. Our responsibility is to reach out to members of Sunnyhill going through challenging or significant life events, whatever they may be, offering the loving presence that binds our community together. If you want to get in touch with us, you may contact us directly, call the church office, or send an email to pastoralcare@sunnyhill.org. Each week at this time in the service, we share joys and sorrows submitted by members of the congregation. We share the things that we are celebrating, as well as the things that we are mourning, so they need not be held alone. Joys and sorrows may be submitted online from our website. After each joy or sorrow that I read, please respond by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." We have a sorrow from Louise Bauer. Please pray for my precious niece, Sarah, her husband, Brian, and my sister, Kathy. Sarah had a large skull tumor removed 2 days ago, and she was diagnosed with bone cancer. To Sarah and Brian and Kathy and the entire family, we hold you in our hearts. And a joy from Barbara Shaw. Barbara said she came home from AGH yesterday following back surgery. Her pinched nerve has been released and is now just a matter of healing. To Barbara, we hold you in our hearts. Let us bear in mind these joys and sorrows, as well as those that are held too closely to be shared. All we have carried through the seasons of our lives has brought us here to this place made sacred by our coming together. May we hold all that we carry in the warm embrace of this loving community.
I invite you to join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. There is a song in each of our hearts. When we are still enough to hear the silence between heartbeats and the insistent rhythm of our pulse, there is a song in each of our hearts. There is a song in the heart of our church. When we are attentive enough to hear cries for help as well as shouts of joy and the pulsing flow of happiness and sorrow, there is a song in the heart of our church. There is a song in the heart of our community when we are aware enough to hear voices that are too often unheard or misheard, to hear them sing their own music rather than ours. There is a song in the heart of our community. There is a song in the heart of our planet when we are open enough to hear the melodies of cascading streams and rumbling thunder, to hear the harmonies of stars and owls and leaves. There is a song in the heart of our planet. Let us pause for a moment of silence that we might better hear these songs. May the songs of our hearts soften us and embolden us. May the songs of our church help us heal one another and our world. May the songs of our community invite us to reach out to others again and again. May the songs of our planet comfort us and inspire us always. And may all the songs we sing draw us closer together and bring us joy. Amen. One of the things that I missed most during the shutdown stage of the pandemic was singing and making music with other people and hearing live music. For me, one of the lifelines I experienced during our online-only time was coming to Sunnyhill to, for one thing, record Carol playing piano music and Buddy. And for me, even more profoundly important and life-sustaining was getting to sing with Mary during this time. I've always liked singing with Mary, of course, but during that time when most of us were rarely leaving our houses, those opportunities to sing together were so important to my well-being. I sing by myself all the time, wherever I am and pretty much whatever I'm doing. But there's something about singing with other people that resonates deeply in our souls, that is a part of the human experience that goes way back beyond any recorded history. People have been singing and chanting together for perhaps tens of thousands of years. Very early on in human history, it became clear that there were some things that could only be expressed through art and through music, that mere phonemes were not enough to convey the totality of human experience and human understanding. And it was also understood very early on that communal singing, raising one's voice with others, has the power to transform an ordinary moment into a sacred one. The act of singing together has long been understood to help form and strengthen human community. Singing binds us together in a way that few, if any, other activities do. Sadly, most adults in America just don't sing like they used to. Children do sing in public routinely and more easily, but adults have become somewhat tongue-tied when it comes to public singing, which is a big change from the 19th century when communal singing was a part of everyday life in America. There are, I think, a number of reasons for this change, one of which might be called the American Idol phenomenon, which I think effectively sends the message that if your voice is not among the very best, you don't deserve to be heard. In addition, we as a people feel more insecure about our voices and are, as a whole, more afraid of appearing foolish or less than cool than we used to be. But for whatever reason, we sing less than we did 100 or more years ago. There are, of course, notable exceptions. At the ballpark, people still join in on saying, "Take me out to the ball game," and there are plenty of people belting out songs at karaoke bars. But in both these cases, I have a suspicion that people's willingness to sing might have something to do with alcohol consumption. Overall, though, we sing together less now than ever before. And that's a huge loss. At public gatherings, there are a lot of opportunities to bond that are lost when there is no singing. It's very rare these days, outside of church perhaps, that we are even asked to sing together. And there are these awkward moments at various commemorations and celebrations when it seems to me that we need to sing, but we just stand there instead. And in that moment, something is lost. An opportunity to experience real togetherness, and something like grace is lost when we do not sing together. And the hymn Amazing Grace is one of those songs that has been so deeply embedded into the collective unconscious of many of us that singing it instantly connects us not only with others in the room, but also with everyone who has ever sung this song before. When John Newton wrote Amazing Grace in the 1770s, he could not have possibly known or imagined just how important this song would become. As described in a biography of Newton written by Jonathan Aitken, Amazing Grace was conceived by Newton in late December 1772 as part of the preparations he was making for a New Year's Day sermon to his parishioners on January 1st, 1773. The notion of writing a hymn in order to prepare for a sermon would have been alien to most 18th century clergymen. But Newton was an ingenious innovator in this field of spiritual communication. Aitken continues, as his only congregation consisted largely of lace makers, agricultural laborers, blacksmiths, carpenters, and other artisans or tradespeople, Newton thought he could help them to understand the scriptures if they amplified his sermons by writing simply worded hymns that illustrated the biblical passages on which he was preaching. However, Newton only occasionally included the singing of these hymns in the church service itself. Because, again, as written by Jonathan Aitken, the 18th century Church of England frowned upon anything other than metrical psalms, that is, psalms of the Bible set to metrical verse, being sung within consecrated buildings. Hymns, as we know them today, are a relatively recent invention. Despite these restrictions and despite the disapproval of many neighboring clergy, Newton continued using hymns as a method of combining worship and biblical teaching at his parish prayer meetings. Newton recognized the potential power of hymn singing in a way that few clergy of his time and place did. He understood how hymns could teach and inspire those who sang, how singing a sacred song together could enliven and sustain religious community. And the song that Newton introduced on New Year's Day of 1773 became perhaps the most important hymn of the past 230 years, a hymn that dwells not just in people's minds and on their lips, but also in their hearts. One of my favorite passages from the Bible comes from the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 29. And this is the King James Version, by the way. Ye shall have a song, as in the night when a holy solemnity is kept, and gladness of heart, as when one goeth with a pipe to come into the mountain of the Lord. Ye shall have a song. I find this passage to be amazingly rich and evocative. It's a great example of the prophet Isaiah as a poet. It is a prophecy and a promise. And the promise that is made in this verse is not that we will have unimaginable riches or even great wisdom. Instead, Isaiah prophesies that we will have something as simple as a song, something that is ephemeral, that is carried on the breath. And rather than eternal bliss or ecstasy, Isaiah promises simply gladness of heart, even as we draw near and encounter with that which is the ultimate and beyond all knowing, the mountain of the Lord. Ye shall have a song. For me, it brings a number of different thoughts, one of which is a passage from the book of Exodus. It's a moment when the Israelites have miraculously escaped Pharaoh's army and crossed the Red Sea and are finally free of slavery and suffering that they endured in Egypt. In Midrash about this passage, a rabbinical commentary, the Israelites want to celebrate this moment of experiencing freedom for the first time in many years, with a song. But when they open their mouths to sing, nothing comes out. They had been oppressed for so long in Egypt that they had forgotten how to sing. And in this story, God, seeing the great distress of the people at this moment that ought to have been joyful and triumphant, sends birds to them. And these birds start singing, and through their singing, they teach the people to sing again. Ye shall have a song. When I first read that story, I thought about my grandpa Thompson, my mother's father, who sang and played banjo and was one of my early musical inspirations. When he was nearing the end of his life and was being cared for in a nursing home, I went to visit him with several of my family members one day. And it was not entirely clear to me that he even knew who we were. He'd had a series of strokes and his mind was altered, and he couldn't talk or converse in any way. But I had brought my guitar with me, and I sat down to sing a few songs, as I had often done before with my grandfather. When I sang Amazing Grace, I think that all of us were surprised to hear my grandfather singing along. Even though he could not talk, he sang every word of that great old hymn with the same big, rumbling Kentucky baritone that he'd always had, just as he'd sung the song before he became ill. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Ye shall have a song. The song is deep in our hearts, in our very being, and even if we forget the song, even if we forget how to sing, we will remind one another, because that's what we do. And if somehow all of us should forget how to sing, the birds will teach us. From the very foundations of the earth, a song will rise up to hold us and teach us how to carry on. Each of you here today has such a song in your heart. I know that you do because I've heard many of your songs. Some are actual, literal songs. Others are the songs that arise in moments of deep sharing and deep listening. Songs that arise in acts of prophetic witness. Songs that arise when what we do aligns with the deepest part of who we are and what we love. You have heard those songs too. Those songs are at least in part why we are here today. Like the Israelites in the story, we need to sing. And now more than ever before, this beautiful, messed up world needs our songs. Every voice needs to be heard. My hope and my prayer is that all we do together as a church might help carry forward this great and simple promise from Isaiah. Ye shall have a song. May it be so. Amen. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit, and we'll sing for the last time this month. I promise. Well, it's the end of the month, so Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Please be seated.
Good morning. It's time for our morning offering. We don't have a designated offering this morning, so our collection will benefit Sunnyhill and help defray our operating expenses. If you'd like to make a gift via our online giving system, you can do so by going to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says Online Giving, then follow the instructions. Or, if you choose to, you can go and can give by text at 412-324-3130. Text the amount of your gift and the word pledge if you'd like your payment applied to your 2022 Sunnyhill pledge. Otherwise, all text gifts will go toward our general operating fund. You can also mail a check if you prefer. You can find our mailing address on our website at sunnyhill.org. For those of you who are here with us in person, we'll be passing the offering basket around in a few moments. Please take a moment to contribute if you like. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity. Please join me in saying the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of commitment, or the power of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I'd like to thank again Megan McGee for the beautiful flute playing today. Thank you, Megan. I also like to remind you that we're in the middle of phasing out our COVID restrictions. Next week will be the first week where we're going to mask optional, mask friendly in our sanctuary, just so you have a heads up. And by mask friendly, we really do mean that. We encourage anyone who chooses to wear a mask to do so. And also, we are going to be doing the RSVP system just for 2 more weeks, after which that will be lifted altogether. So thank you for your patience and in keeping up with all of those things. As you probably noticed, our parking lot is starting to fill up again, which is a good problem to have, but it's still an issue. And I just remind you that there is parking on some of the neighboring side streets here. If you need any help figuring that out, ask Bethany or any one of our longtime Sunnyhill members, and we can help you with that. For now, we'll close with these words. With faith in the creative powers of life, with hope for the future of life in this world, with love for all others who share this life with us, let us go forward together in peace. Our meeting has ended. Let our service begin. Go in peace.